Hello everyone, we are here in Gliwice. We have just recorded a podcast in Polish with Adrian, so I thought it would be nice to also have some short conversation with Adrian in English, because it was quite interesting to hear Adrian's thoughts on CQRS, and given that RKC is also quite CQRS heavy, that this would be interesting. So Adrian, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Adrian Piętka. I am from Emphie solution. After hours, I create with the friends the internet service about programming. It's Dev.Env.pl.
Yeah, so it's one of the most popular Polish programming podcasts.
Probably yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have some episodes in iTunes on the most 5 popular podcasts in Poland. It's additional work. But here in Gliwice, in Emphie Solutions, we work on the ChessGrow platform.
That's why I'm here as well, because I'm a chess and a programmer, so we are talking.
Yes, I'm not chess player, but I am programmer. Program developer.
So they are working on ChessGrow, which is a really interesting platform for all kinds of chess players, including chess parents of chess kids and teachers of chess kids. Amazing stuff. So I really hope they will hit the world with bigger numbers.
So Andrzej, maybe you want to describe some information about this podcast, about the CQRS, what we speak.
Yeah. So we kind of will be repeating the conversation that we've had probably in a bit, because we just discussed it in Polish, and we were discussing CQRS like kind of separated from DDD and event sourcing. So if you were watching our other videos or our RKC blog post, you know that we are combining CQRS with DDD and event sourcing, and I really like the narration from Adrian where we try to look at CQRS on its own. And maybe you can explain how you see CQRS like outside of everything else.
Okay, I work on the project where we use the CQRS. We use the commands where we save the information to database using the ORM entity framework, because we creating application use the .NET platform. And the read model, it was mainly views on database. We have some separate entities and tables in database, but for the read model, we create the dedicated view for each read model.
So let me just interrupt you, because this is really important and interesting for me, because I, and probably as many Rails developers, and as I learned today, not only Rails developers, we tend to ignore the database capabilities, and especially in context of CQRS, where we separate commands and queries. I often implemented the queries as separate tables, very often in the same database as the right ones, because that was easier in our Rails approach. However, only later I learned that database views actually are much easier mechanism to do. They can save me some coding. So I really like this approach with having those database views as a way of implementing them. So I was wondering, was it did you do it from the beginning like that? Was it clearly your interpretation of CQRS?
It was the first step for using the CQRS,
okay.
And we learn how to make some context for the read and for the write, and it was the most easy way to implement the CQRS.
Yeah. So I think why I was kind of misled into this separate tables is because when Greg Young was presenting CQRS, at least that was my understanding of his education, it was that each read model can have its own storage, right? So, for example, you can have those read models in document-based databases or document-based storage, or even on different servers and so on. So I think that this led me to think that it should be separated, because when you have, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but when we implement views as read models as views in the database, they are kind of coupled. So you need to have those original tables in the database, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Why? Because sometimes where we have the read model, we get information from the other view who we shared between read models. Sometimes we need only the some part of information, or we want to get all information, but for the view on the UI part, we need to make some transformation of data.
So sometimes you have read model like that's also the interesting bit. So in CQRS, I think we look at the UI as a number of read models, right? But the way you're implementing this, actually, this is my question: how do you allow some sharing, or coupling between those read models under the hood in a way that they share the same view when they are similar? So let's say one box shows 5 most recent users, while other shows 5 first registered users or whatever, or 5 last registered users. So it's not entirely the same, but it's also not very different. It's all about users. So would you implement this as different views?
We have the one view.
One view.
But we have the 2 separate read models. The only difference in this case, it's the order of some data information. Last 5 users, or last logged, last created, whatever.
Okay, so what is your terminology? Like, what exactly is a read model technically? Which pieces of code or which pieces of database belong to the definition of data model of the read model?
In this case, we use the read model who can get information from the prepared view, but read model can filter some information, filter some records from the database, or can change the order.
I see. So the actual view in the database is not part of the read model, it's just the data storage.
Yes and no. Mainly yes, but in some specific case we use in this way.
Okay. When we talk about this user interface examples, like for example, you now work on ChessGrow, which is it now a CQRS application, or probably it wasn't written as a CQRS application?
We have some part of the event sourcing, but no, we don't have the CQRS from the real life. We use the events to the mainly for send notification to the user.
Okay. So one of the core, now I will be talking about the chess parts because this really excites me. So ChessGrow, one of the main features, the core features, is about giving kind of homework to chess students. So as a teacher, you can have a group of chess students, usually kids, and you want them to solve certain chess exercises. So you want them to solve it, and then you probably, as a teacher, you want to see some kind of report how they go, or whether they actually solved it or not. So which parts of the system you would extract to read models if you was given this chance now?
At the moment, the all actions where we need to notify other user and the part when we make some changes in the ChessGrow, add the new puzzle set, add the new movie, and other stuff, and for generate the wall of information for the user. When user log into ChessGrow, see the wall where have the all information what we change in the ChessGrow. So it's, in my opinion, at the moment, it's the first part where we can use the CQRS, because you create the new puzzle set. Okay, we can send the event, and other part we can build the read model using this event, information from this event. So we create the read model and use it in the wall for the user.
Cool. Okay. So given that ChessGrow, it's even in the name, will be growing more and more, you will have millions of users one day. Which parts of the application you will see like that, as challenging to implement? Like, do you see in the final picture that CQRS will be a good approach to this?
CQRS, DDD, and event sourcing. Yes, some days ago I talked with the Marlena about some technical aspects, and I tell we should start implementing the ChessGrow using the CQRS. Then at the moment we don't have the problem with the growth of user grow. But we start working on the ChessGrow some years ago. The first approach it was the monolith system.
Yeah, that's the
it's
situation.
normal way in the startup. Then in my opinion, in the future, the CQRS for the ChessGrow, it's
should be a good approach overall.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that will be my intuition as well. Like especially, like I think CQRS really comes to mind where you talk about, scaling better for a bigger number of users and so on. Especially that, when we are talking about ChessGrow, it's maybe even if you don't know, like if you're watching this and you don't know that much about chess, but it's similar to other web applications where it's mostly about reading data, right? It's about looking at the diagram to solve it. There is some clicking, there is some changing of the state, but it's not, as compared to the number of reads, it's really less, right? It's usually all about preparing all the best reads and scale on the read side mostly, so the query side and so on.
And in the system, we have the many domain actions. We have the trainer, we have the teacher, we have the student. So we have the big domain implemented into ChessGrow.
Did you already? I know you're like not from the beginning probably, but did you already start thinking in terms like what are the domains or subdomains in your system, or did you go with the DDD approach of thinking about the boundaries?
No, at the moment, no, because we have the other technical stuff to do.
That's the usual thing. And that's very often what we do. Like at RKC, we often inherit Rails projects from someone else, and usually the kind of problems that are clearly needed to be solved at the beginning, they are not really that much related to like finding the right boundaries between domains. It's more like, I don't know, let's separate this read model because this is really a performance problem here. So there are other other problems to be solved before you go into DDD. Another question might be similar. I know that you were attending a workshop. Was it a workshop?
Workshops.
A workshop by Adam Dimitruk, right?
Adam Dimitruk.
And it was about event modeling, right?
Yes.
This is kind of like I see Adam being very active in the community right now, and I follow Adam's thoughts. He seems to be a very thought leader. So can you try to summarize what is event modeling to someone who already knows what was event storming maybe, and what is the new stuff with event modeling? Okay, maybe I try, but I'm not the best in event modeling. For me, it was the new stuff. It's next step after the event storming, when we have some timeline with the events, with the aggregates, with the some domain points. The next step, why? Because we create the full timeline flow with the UI. Yeah. You have and the UI. Just for the people here, if you are not familiar with event storming, please just Google event storming, or the best way is to Google Alberto Brandolini. Alberto Brandolini, he's the main person behind event storming as a way of putting nodes on the wall, and he's amazing. Like if you see him in action, we invited him for Wrocław RB one year, and it was amazing like how easily he showed this technique. So it's about putting events in kind of chronological order and start grouping them. So yeah, so now the event modeling parts kicks in somewhere, right?
Okay, so we have the UI information, UI view, and each UI is related to some read models.
Yeah.
You have the information about logged user. So you have the read model for the information about the logged user. And the other part of the view, you have the list of, I don't know, maybe some products. Yeah, then you have the other read model for this list. And use this UI design, you see, okay, we have the two read models, and what events creating these read models. So you need the connect the all commands and commands and queries using the events. Yeah, we need the events for the creating it. And you know where you read the events from other command, and we draft it using the whiteboard, and next part it was using the online tool to the.
Do you remember the name of the tool?
Miro.
Okay.
And the next step it was implementing this using the CQRS event store. Event sourcing.
Okay. I remember Adam was also involved. I'm not sure if it's still active. Like, I think he was working on some software to generate microservices using event storming. Like, is it part of it? Was it mentioned?
No.
Because I remember, maybe it wasn't Adam. I think it was Adam. Like where I remember event modeling notation or event, something about notation. But maybe I'm wrong. I will Google it and I'll add to the description. All right, so was there like something new in this approach for you? Like, what was that? Was there like an aha moment for you during this workshop?
Yes, it's because we connect the business and developer team on the one view where we know what we should implement because we have the command events and read models, and business see what we need to the creating this view. You know, you have the very simple view. It's only the one input to the field and one button, similar to Google. But in the background, you see, okay, we need to send this command. We need to send this event. We need to generate 3 read models and search in the read models, whatever. But you see what we should do.
Okay. So is it like part of the event modeling, I don't know, philosophy or how to call it, but is it also, does it include event sourcing or does it just leave it as an implementation detail?
You know information about the all events what we should release, but event sourcing, it was only the implementation part.
Okay, cool. I need to read, probably I should attend Adam's workshop one day. I really like this growth of activities around the event stuff. Like we have event storming, we have event modeling. I think it adds something new to the programming techniques. But sometimes I'm also wondering like how we are trying to modeling with events, but how far, like the usual way, the traditional way, at least the way I was taught, was to model using objects, right? And I wonder, is it like totally different, or is it just a complementary approach, or kind of object modeling still makes sense? Like, what's your take? Like for example, when we discuss with business that there is in ChessGrow you have a puzzle, and puzzle is an object, and you can show the puzzle, you can solve the puzzle, you can verify the solution. So maybe there's a solution object. So still the terminology seems to be the same, because like puzzle solved, kind of, I think to me it tells there will be a puzzle object which will have a solve method. Does it sound the same to you, or like, is it not really required?
Maybe other way. we use the JavaScript in the backend, in some part of application, and we don't have the object, the really object. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we still can use the CQRS, still create the DDD aggregates, but we don't have the object. We have the literal. Okay, we can create some methods, etc., properties, but it's only some stuff of implementation, technical stuff.
Okay, understand. Cool. Yeah, so it's actually right. CQRS, for example, doesn't really assume that there are objects, right? So it's a good point. Okay, thanks. That was really nice talking to you. Maybe at the end you would like to advertise your podcast, because I know some of our audience are also Polish people. So, what are the usual topics you cover at Dev.Env?
Mainly we speak about the good practice in the software development, but sometimes we speak the other people from the software development teams. For example, with the technical leaders and leaders who not technical, but mainly we focus on the good practice for the developers.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Okay.